Okay, I'm gonna do a quick little video just to show you a couple things. So right now, if you can see the drawing, I have a fire extinguisher here. Not all the parts are in there yet. Currently looks like a wine bottle on its side. And I have a plug like this right here. And I'm currently putting in these little holes that exist right here. Basically, they're just like wheels, but they're negative of wheels. And what I did first, if you look down here at the bottom left-hand corner, is I'm just gonna angle this down here just so you can kind of see what I'm doing. There you go. So I made I roughed a circle in right here, just to get a sense of how big this might be, where its location is on this area here, and that's all I wanted to do. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to draw a line on the left side of this line and on the right side of this line. And that would be a vertical line. And then another vertical line there. Okay. That's going to be the width of the circle. And what I'm going to do next is try to do this in a different color just so you can kind of see what I'm doing. It might be hard to understand this, but I'm going to put points on the four corners of this rectangle shape I just made. Whenever there's a rectangle shape, you can cross the corners and find the center of that section there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do exactly that. So I'm going to cross my corners. And I cross my corners. And I'm using this orange color just so you can kind of see what I'm doing. I wouldn't do this. I'll probably erase this eventually later, but that finds my center. And then from the center point, what I'm going to do now is, if this is the width, I'm going to try to designate what I think the height would be. So I'm going to go about this high right here. And you can kind of see I put a point right there. And then that point, and this is where I start to have to get creative with my lines, because my ruler doesn't go all the way to that far. So, there we go. My word, how hard is this? Okay, so now I can put a line in there. And then from that point on, so see where this green line intersects the orange crossed lines? Then I draw a line straight down. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not true. That's not really important right now. Equal distance from the top. Yeah, actually, I am correct about that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop a line down from where this orange part is, because I want to go equally on the other side of this center point. I'm going to keep my width, but I'm using this cross line to figure this out. So I'm going to drop a line down to right here, and I'm going to put a dot. Okay? After I put that dot, I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to connect it to the right vanishing point. There. And that square is going to be the width of this circle. And the reason I kind of did my best to figure out what a square would look like. I didn't want to make something that's too narrow or too wide. It's not going to work out. But this seems like a circle, an ellipse would fit in there well. So then I'm just going to use that as my source for the rest of the for the rest of the triangles that go through it. One has to go on the other side of this plane, because you can do a transparent one, and one has to go here as well. So in order to figure that out, actually, yeah. If you wonder what that noise is, I have my little boy right here. So I'm going to run 4 corners to the left vanishing point. I'll figure out where it hits this guy in a minute, but what I'm going to do first is I'm going to clean this area up right here, this little square that I made here, and then I'm going to I guess I'll use the green again. I think I'm going to use the blue just so you guys can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to cross corner to corner. And to be honest, it's probably easier if I use this guy here. And corner to corner. That finds my center. I'm going to make a vertical line here. And then there's a line that goes to the vanishing point way up there. And it's a pain in the butt because it's such a small line, but I gotta put it in there. And it's so far away from the vanishing point that I actually have to connect 2 rulers together. I'm limited with my materials where I am. Okay, I think that's about right. There we are. Center, 3/4, center, 3/4, center, 3/4, center, 3/4. Take this little guy, run it around. And whenever there's a circle, it takes a long time to design that ellipse. If you're just doing a quick sketch, you'll have a pretty good idea of the shape of the ellipse. But in this case, you have to do everything by the book. And then after that, then you can start to do, with a different color pencil, you can start to do the circle. Or in this case, the ellipse. So you can see how that ellipse exists there, and then you're going to repeat that same ellipse on the other side of all of this work here. Now, I'll show you how to bring it to the other side of this, and then you can translate that on the other form there. What I'm going to do is this line, I'll draw it in blue. So this line that was the exterior line of this circle, I'm going to draw that up till I hit the point here. What I'm going to do is then I'll take that line around, so that's basically where that orange point is. I'm going to take it over to the other side of this plane here, and then I'm going to drop it down. When I drop it back down on the other side, that's when and it hits the green line right here. That is the other side of this thing. Once I have that, then I can start to draw my rectangle in, and then I can do my circle there as well. Just gonna pull this out just a hair more. It's tricky when you have all these materials and you got to go to the vanishing point using 2 different rulers. It makes things really hard, especially when you have this little tiny line that exists right there. So I'm putting that line in. How do I find where this line meets the other side? I repeat the same thing. I follow this line straight up until I get to the top of the plane where that little orange dot is that I made before, which is right there. And then I run it over to the other side. Seriously. And once it hits the other side, I put a little dot here. And then I drop the line straight down. And I think I'm gonna have to call this quits because little man wants my attention. So then right where it meets it right here is the start of it. And I just bring it down. And where this line meets it right here, I bring it across. It's gonna be something like this. Connect to that vanishing point, I just kind of made it up there. And then you bring this guy down. So, I don't know if you can see this, but this blue square right here is the other side of this ellipse. So you're gonna have to do all that work. And this is where you really have to pay attention because you can see all the lines that it gets quite complex. And now you're working small, micro. So you really have to pay attention and just remember that what I usually do is I'll put 4 little dots here. And that will help me figure out how to go about crossing the corners, finding the center, and then I can put in my elliptical shape there. And I'll just kind of rough it in so you get the idea. So once it's here, then you got to find it on this other part, and then you get that sense of volume and depth. And in the next video, you'll see that complete. I'm going to make another video soon to show you how to add this part on, because this is kind of a quick little mini version of what I'm doing here. So stay tuned.